Hey guys, so today I have a different video for you guys. It's not my typical video I put out, but these are the type of videos I do want to put out for you guys. I had talked about wanting to bring in a lot of my fashion design knowledge into my channel, and recently I've been working on a project and I was looking for a lace clippy mask video on how to do a full lace fabric swatch, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So after I figured it out on my own, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a video on it because I must not be the only one looking for this. That's what really pushed me to want to do this video. This is my first Illustrator tutorial kind of thing. I feel like one of my professors, because they make videos like this for us to follow along, so I feel like one of my professors. Alright, so let's get right into it. The first thing I am going to do is open up the final project to show you guys what I'm gonna be working towards. And this is the project I've been working on, and this is where I figured out how to do the lace clippy mask. Now we're not gonna focus on this, but we're gonna be focusing on this. Now this is my cousin's prom dress. It's a rough draft, we're still working on it, but for the most part this is what we're going for. And this is the clippy mask I was talking about. Let me zoom out a bit to show you guys. So as you guys can see, this is the fabric swatch on its own, the clippy mask. This is what we want to get to. So if I put it back where it was, it becomes a part of the garment. And this is really what I was going for, because I didn't want to do an image clippy mask. Now an image clippy mask looks like, and I'll show you guys, it looks like my first ever like big Illustrator project I ever did at school. So when you find an image on Google and you want to use that as your clippy mask, it looks more like this. So although it looks okay, I feel like if I would have done the fabric on my own, it would have looked a little better. I feel like this just looks a lot more professional and it looks more clean, which is what I was going for. I figured this was the best way to get what I was looking for. But yeah, if this is the type of video you're looking for, then stay tuned. Getting into the actual tutorial, the first thing you want to do is go to Google. I already have the picture, so I'm gonna just open it up, and this is the picture I have. You guys can obviously look for any picture. You do want to make sure it is black and white. You don't want any colored fabric. If you want it in color, I will show you later how to change the colors and all that, but you want to make sure for this particular tutorial that you don't pick a color. You make sure that it's black and white, and I'm just gonna open it with Photoshop, and that way I don't have any like canvas around it. It's just a solid picture. Now what I want to do is I want to crop it, and I'm going to show you guys how I cropped it. So this is the cropped image. This came from this. Now when you're cropping an image, you want to make sure that you don't include stuff that's repeated. So you obviously don't want to include more than these two, because these are the two main repeating objects. As you guys can see, they're repeated here. Yes, they're flipped here, but for our lace, you won't even need them flipped. You don't necessarily need to have it perfect. You just need to have the main idea. And I guess we'll see what I'm talking about as I go along with this video. So another thing that is repeated is this right here. As you guys can see, it's right here. So you want to make sure when you're cropping it that you're gonna only cut off that part that you guys can see on this side. So we'd probably crop it around here. And obviously we're gonna crop up here because we don't need this. And so I'm just gonna bring in my cropping tool. Alright, so when I'm cropping it, I'm gonna make sure none of the head, so none of this head and none of this head is there. And obviously we don't want this flower piece up here. So we're gonna crop it about right there. And I think that's the perfect size right there. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make it brighter. So I'm just gonna go to adjustments over here, and I'm gonna pick up the brightness a bit. Maybe about there. And then the contrast. And I think that looks fine. So now you're just gonna save the image, and you can do that on file. I don't know if you guys know how to do that, but you'll just save it. You just want to make sure when you save it that you save it as a JPEG, which is right here, and you'll just save it. Now I already have the picture I want to use, which is this one. And now you're gonna open up another file. So you want to make sure it's a 8x11 or 11x8 depending on your orientation. I always choose landscape, and you make sure that it's transparent, and then you just press create. Alright, so I'm just gonna do edit, copy, and then I'm going to bring it into here, and here we have our image. Now, as you guys can see, this is how big the swatch is, and obviously we don't want it like that because if you've seen lace, obviously the flowers are smaller, and we're doing a whole fabric swatch, so we obviously want these to be a lot smaller, and you want to be sure you're pressing shift so the dimensions stay the same. I'm going to do it about 2.5 inches. Yeah, I'll do 2.5 inches. Okay, so then I'm gonna press enter and it's set. And now we're gonna do tiling. If you've done tiling before, then you're gonna know what I'm talking about. If you haven't done tiling, then you guys can just follow along with me. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the layer, and then I'm gonna go to the layer sidebar, and I'm going to duplicate the layer. And now you're gonna get this little dialog box that's gonna say layer 1 copy, and you're just gonna press OK. And you wanna make sure right now this is selected. You wanna select layer 1, and then I'm using a Mac, so I have arrows. I'm pretty sure all computers have arrows. I'm not sure about PCs, but you just wanna make sure you're pressing on your right arrow, and you wanna press the arrow over and over. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just press it down and it works fine. And you're gonna do this until you get to the edge of the picture, and this is where you're gonna make sure you match up like these right here. And see, we're getting this in here, and we're starting to get this in here. We just want to make sure we get that as close as possible. This seems just about right for me, and see, it looks like it's blending in, and we definitely want to keep it that way. So now that it's blended, we want to select it and then select the other one. To select the other one, you want to press shift, and now you want to merge the layers. There's 2 ways to merge the layers. You can go again on your layers tab, and then it'll be down here, it'll say merge layers, or as you guys can see right here, it says Command E or Control E, and you just select it, and now it's one layer. And so now you're going to do it again. You're going to duplicate the layer, press OK, and select the bottom layer, and just press down on your right key and match up the corners. And that's pretty much what you're gonna do until you get to the edge, and then I'll show you guys how to do the bottom. And now we have one big layer, and we're just going to do it again, but now we're going to fill in this space. So in order to do that, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to duplicate, select the bottom layer, and now you're just going to press your down key. Now I'm getting to the bottom of this, and I think the first time I did it, I made sure that this matched up down here. This little area, I made sure it matched up, and it looked right for me. You guys could obviously match it whichever way you guys would like, but I liked it. So now I'm just gonna select the 2 images and merge them. Now you have this big piece. and we're just gonna keep doing it over and over until we reach the bottom. So again, I'm gonna go in and make sure these are matching up pretty well. That seems about right. And I think I'm set. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got this piece and it is covering my entire canvas, so I'm just gonna select both, and again I'm gonna merge the layers, and now you have one big picture, and this is what you want to get. Now again, you want to go into adjustments and add some brightness to it and some contrast. It'll help you out a lot in Illustrator, and I think that's about where I want it. So now you're gonna go ahead and save it, and I'm just gonna put lace fabric swatch, and you want to make sure again it's in JPEG. If you want to save it in Photoshop as a file, you guys can, because then you guys can have it as reference. I know I didn't, but this time I do want to do it. I'll just save it later. So I'm just gonna replace the picture I had, because I had done this video before. So now it's saved as a JPEG, and now we are done with Photoshop. You don't have to worry about Photoshop anymore, but now we are going to bring it into Illustrator. To bring it into Illustrator, you're gonna go into File, again if it goes, and you're gonna go under Place, and then you are going to select the picture. So I have it right here, Lace Fabric Swatch. So now that we placed it into our Illustrator file, you guys can see this right here, and it's called Image Trace, but I never use it. It works the same, it's the same thing, but I prefer using the dialog bots, which I'll go under here, and I'm able to control how the image trace goes. Now if you press preview, it's going to show you how the original looks, which this does not look like lace whatsoever. So you're just gonna mess with these things right here, and I want to bring in a lot less noise, and it does take a while because it is a big file. And you just want to mess with it. This is never gonna look the same for everybody, but yeah, you do want to mess with it on your own. Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna keep it at, and I'm just gonna, in order to do the trace, you want to unclick preview and press trace, and then there's your tracing. And now you want to go up here and you're gonna see expand, and you want to press expand. Now you are able to edit inside of it. Now what we don't want is to have the white. So in order to get rid of the white, we want to use this arrow right here, the white, not the white plus, but the white arrow. And we want to select one piece of the white. And now we want to go to select, which is up here in the top bar, and you want to go under same and then press fill color, and that will select all the white in this picture. And now you're just gonna press delete, and now all the white is gone. Now when I talked to you guys about picking a black and white image and not a colored image, was because now you can change it to any color you want. This right here says it's black, but I can go in and use the color of the dress, which is what I did initially, and now I have the color of the dress. And I can do, I'm gonna put it against the white background because you guys will be able to see the fabric better. The lace, I guess you could say. So if I do it like a lilac, it's a lilac lace. Let's see, let's do a green. You want some green lace, you have green lace right there. A blue, you have blue, yellow, yellow lace. So you can now change it to any color you want. Now I'm gonna use this maroon color because that's the dress, that's the color of my dress. And I'm going to delete this so it's boom out of the picture. Now we're gonna shrink the image, and that way it'll make the lace a lot smaller and make it look a lot more natural. So make sure you're pressing down shift and just shrink it down. And I can do more, so I'm gonna go in a little bit more. I might have done a little too much now. I did do a little too much now. So I'm gonna go up about there. And that's about, actually, I can go a little bit more. You definitely want to go over rather than under. Alright, so that's about the right size that I want. When you're inserting the picture, you want to make sure it's under a different layer. So I have a shape layer and a details layer. I do have this layer 5 because that's where all my clipping mask is gonna go. I didn't even think about saying it because I knew it was in the right layer. But when you place the picture, you want to make sure it's in its own layer, because the clipping mask should be in its own layer, not with the shape and not with the details. You want it to be in its own layer. So that's where the yellow is at. So as you guys can see, this little button means that is selected. So now that's in the right layer. Now we have to make a copy of the piece we want to mask. Now we want to mask, not that. We want to mask this piece right here, but we can't mask it until we make a copy of it. So in order to make a copy, we're gonna press Command C or Control C, and then Command F, which is copy front. And it's gonna add a second one to it. So I can literally move it for you guys right there, and there's still one underneath. This is just the copy. So I'm just gonna move it back, and now we're gonna move that one into the clipping mask layer. So how you do that, you select the green right here and then drag it down to the yellow, and as you guys can see, it went from green to yellow. And if I move it again, it'll turn to green, but we want it in the same layer as your clipping image, and there it is. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the clipping mask, and this part is really simple. There is 2 ways to do it. You want to make sure you have the section that you want to mask selected and then the image. So you want to make sure you press down shift and you'll have both selected. As you guys can see, here's the little silhouette and then the image. Now there's 2 ways. You can go under object, and then down here it'll say clipping mask, and then it'll say make, and that will make your clipping mask. Or you can press Command 7 or Control 7. That's what I do because I'm so used to it. I do it so much. But if you do it like that, there's your clipping mask. Or again, I can do Command 7 and there it is. It just depends on what you want to do. This does look a little bit bigger because it is a bigger image. But again, you guys can do your lace however you would like. It doesn't technically have to be the same lace that I used. I will link the picture down below. If you guys want to use that, then you guys can obviously use it. So another tip I do want to give to you guys is, before you make the clipping mask and once you've done the image tracing, I would recommend for you guys to save the image trace, because image tracing does take a really long time to get it about right. And that's what I have right here. I already have it set up, so if I want to use it for any other projects, I can just do it like that, because you won't be able to get the image trace once you've clip masked it unless you undo. But if you want to go back to it, then you won't find it. But see, I have it right here in its own little area, and I can obviously just go in, copy, bring it into a file and paste it, and then I can obviously go in and change the color of it, and then it's ready to use. So if I was undoing that, then I'll just put this over it And then there it is. As you guys can see, this one's a lot smaller. It looks a lot better. But yeah, that's just how I would do it. It's definitely helpful to already have it ready to go. But yeah, you guys are well on your way after knowing how to do it. All right, so this is the end result. This is how you do a clipping. This is how you do a lace clipping mask. I hope it was helpful to you guys. It was my first time explaining it rather than just working on it, but I hope it was of help to you guys. And if you guys need any more Illustrator help or any help in general, then let me know down below and I'll definitely help you guys out with that. If you guys have any questions, if something's not working for you, then also let me know down below and I will be sure to help you guys. You guys could also email me. I always have my email link down below. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out. Bye.